Welcome back, everybody. Today's Wednesday, and the first thing I needed to get done today was a trip down to A1 Auto Parts in Buckeye Lake. Me and the puppies jumped in the 55, and we headed down to go see Mark and pick up some shop supplies and a few little things for the Malibu and Billy's S10. Old June pup, she just lays there on the front seat and enjoys the ride. She's pretty low maintenance. Chivy, on the other hand, not so much. She's a character. She's always got to be up on the seat or got her head out the window, one or the other. I swear by now that these dogs can smell those dog treats a block away from the parts store. They know as soon as I pull up here exactly what to expect when they go through the door of the parts store. They even know where Mark keeps the treats. Marcus!
What's going on?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on?
I need parts again.
Pieces parts?
Yeah, I gotta get a couple belts and some degreaser and
Oh boy, it sounds like another project.
yeah, I need some antifreeze. I need all kinds of stuff.
All right, well, let's get on it.
They don't screw around anymore. They know exactly what's coming when they get to this place.
They do.
We're awfully fortunate to be such good friends with Mark Huntsman, who owns A1. It doesn't seem to matter what I come down there for, he can always find it. Can't stump you on anything,
You're
can
not
I?
stumping me today,
Look,
Bill. I'm sorry.
the courtesy
I'm just
lights
doing
for the Malibu, a turn signal bulb for the Malibu. I got the belts for the S10, shop towels, brake cleaner, black spray paint, oil filters, case of brake cleaner. Look at this. He's got it all. Oh, he throws it at me.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, he throws it at me, but he's got it.
No stumping the chump today. Bill. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
You too got Mark wrapped around your little paws. By the time I got back to the house, Billy and Kenny were getting ready to back the Malibu out of the shop and start working on degreasing the engine compartment. And they'd already had the fifth scale trucks out blowing them off, getting ready for a little race this afternoon. But first, we really need to get this Malibu engine compartment cleaned up. The little V6 in it just leaks oil everywhere, and it is a teetotal, complete disaster. It turned out pretty decent when the kids got done, though. After we all got done working on the Malibu, a friend of mine showed up with his fifth scale RC truck wanting to go check out the track. So we all got our trucks out, got them running, but boy, oh boy, do we need something to water this track down.
These guys are out of control with the dust. I'm going around putting windows up on everything. The car that they just washed is getting all covered in dust. I thought they made a tank sprayer. Dumbasses.
Okay, so let me explain. Sean's truck has a 45cc engine, whereas Billy and I's truck only has a 32cc engine. The difference is in how hard they rev. And we just had to see whose stuff runs better. So naturally, when there's this kind of competition going on, everybody's going to let it all hang out. And a little bit of dust in the air is the least of our worries. And we raised a little bit of dust back here in the back. Okay. Maybe a little bit more than a little bit of dust. Now I gotta tell you, for a group of drag racers to get together and let off a little bit of steam, there's nothing better than some roundy round dirt track action to get your frustrations out.
Man, Billy's been practicing.
You hear the excuses?
Yeah.
I can't see.
Dummy, I thought you made a tank sprayer for
Well, I'm going to.
this. Yeah, you better. I'm going around putting windows up on everything.
Sorry. After we got done putting everything away, I decided to go up and check on Tommy. What are you doing back there, Wigwam? He and Billy combined their money today, and they bought a new home computer to do video editing on. This should make things a little bit easier and go a little faster.
Quality, and it plays without stopping.
That's awesome.
Like we can edit in full quality and do all kinds of shit. Have different stuff open at the same time. Trying to figure out sound right now.
I'm incredibly proud of Tommy and how hard he works at editing. And Allison, oh my goodness. Allison took every bit of this footage from War in the Woods. And this part of the B-roll from War in the Woods is just absolutely outstanding. Between Tommy and Allison and Billy, those three kids have got something really, really special going on. But they've been doing all this on used laptops, stuff that they bought secondhand, cheap, because we didn't have the money. Now that things are picking up, the kids are reinvesting in the channel, in the equipment, in the cameras, and the computers to do a better job of editing. Better than anything we've ever been able to do before. After I went up and checked out Tommy's new computer, I took Vicky and Billy out to dinner in Pataskala, and we went through the car wash with Vicky's Suburban.
Are we sitting still or moving?
We move a little bit every time.
I've never been in this one and I don't like that feeling.
What feeling?
That we're moving.
We're not.
I don't like this car wash
Why?
because I don't know what's going on. This isn't the usual car wash I go to. Are we on tracks that are moving?
Poor Vicky. She is definitely a natural blonde.
You really think we're moving?
We were definitely moving a minute ago.
There's no tracks and it's been in park the entire time.
The girls were antsy this morning. They could not wait to get downstairs to begin the process of pestering me to throw Frisbees. Of course, I gave in. We started off with an orange Frisbee, but it didn't take but about 6 or 8 throws, and they'd chewed holes clear through it. So then we switched to a green one. And 2 or 3 throws after that, the UPS guy shows up. So we take a break from throwing Frisbees in order to go raid the treat jar. Once the dogs got what they wanted, we backed the UPS truck up and unloaded the first shirt order for the week. And then Billy and I had errands to go run. What are we doing, Junebug?
Well, I called up Uncle Terry this morning, gave him a list of parts,
Yeah.
and he had every single thing at
What?
Delaware that I gave him. There's like 10 things.
Really?
So we got headers for the Malibu. We got cross member, engine mounts, transmission mount, AC compressor bracket.
Really?
Got Ford 9-inch or Ford 8.8 390 gear ring and pinion.
For the Falcon.
Install kit and a 1350 yoke for the pinion yoke.
Yeah.
Got all that stuff, so I got to take that stuff to Lucor because Austin isn't back. He's the parts runner. He's not back from Chicago. He had to run to Chicago for something.
Huh.
So we're gonna go grab those parts, take them to Rich at Lucor, and then I'm gonna go grab this engine and transmission from Corey Farrington because he's over there. He's over there by Delaware. So
Sweet. So we put the nose of the old shitwagon Silverado into the wind, and we head northwest up to Delaware to the Jegs main warehouse. Once we had all our parts loaded up at Jegs, we headed over to Lucor Automotive on the northwest side of Columbus to drop off the ring and pinion, bearings, installation kit, and new pinion yoke for the Falcon. Rich met us there and showed us the carnage that he had pulled from the rear end housing. What Rich found was that the pinion nut had backed off and caused a problem with the pinion bearings, which caused the ring and pinion to chew itself up. So, we hand over all the parts to Rich and he goes through the kit very carefully to make sure everything is there before he tears it down any further. After that, we head over to Corey Ferenson's house to pick up the small block and the Turbo 350 out of an old friend. The Dirty Deeds Nova that Billy raffled off last year has been here in Corey's garage, and he's been working on restoring the car ever since. Corey's all about that LS life, so he's letting go of the small block and the Turbo 350 and putting a 5.3 and a 4L80 in it, similar to what he's got in this 77 Nova parked in the driveway. Hey, you want to get blasted by a 340 Dart? I think we can arrange a little Mopar on LS crime.
Well, that sounds good. I'll gladly take it.
You will?
I'll take the L.
Oh.
I'm gonna need at least a car.
You're needing a car? Bro!
It's on hard tires.
We're on hard tires, man. It's just a
radials?
junk old Dart.
It's got radials.
Oh, come on, Corey. Oh. Putting the Chevy guys to shame, asking for links against a 340 Dart on a hard tire.
I've seen the way that thing runs.
Luckily for us, everybody wants an LS now. So the market for the old small block Chevys is definitely in the buyer's favor. When we got back to the shop this evening after picking that engine up, Billy went into the shop and brought up some video from Crossville, Tennessee. The big $250,000 race is coming up, and he wanted to watch some game footage, as he calls it, trying to prepare himself for what he thinks will be a good tune-up when we get there for the S10 and the Falcon. I, on the other hand, did a little work on the carburetor on the truck, made a few changes to it just before Vicky was starting dinner. What you doing there, Squirrely Locks?
Getting ready to grill.
You gonna burn me up some burgers and brats?
Yep. And I'm making you some bacon to put on the burgers.
That means there'll be extra bacon in the fridge.
Probably not.
What? Just before dinner, Billy and Tommy were working on a promotional video for the next giveaway on Street Racing Channel. A brand new remote control Traxxas / drag car with a 69 Mustang body. While the kids are working on that, Vicky was dishing up dinner, and I caught her with a plate of bacon, but she only let me have one piece before she shushed me away. She's always so stingy with that damn bacon. All right, guys, we're back. So I'm out here in the shop, and we just finished up dinner. Today, we went and picked up that engine for the Malibu, and we've got some more parts coming in tomorrow at Jegs. So there's going to be another Jegs trip tomorrow, but probably just to the 11th Avenue store. I think we're going to go ahead and put a set of heads on this engine that we bought today. And a hydraulic roller camshaft. It's got a flat tappet hydraulic camshaft in it right now. And although it sounds good and it run good, I think ultimately what we want to do is put a hydraulic roller in it. So we've got a cam and lifters and push rods and a set of heads, I think, coming in tomorrow at Jegs. So once we get all those parts rounded up, we're probably going to go ahead and start cleaning up the engine, pulling the heads off of it, and getting started on the Malibu engine. Now, this weekend, the weather's not looking very good. We were supposed to go to Pacemakers, right? We're supposed to go to Pacemakers this weekend for Boo Bash, but the weather's not looking too good. We may not get to race at all on Friday, and Saturday is highly questionable. Sunday looks good, but I don't know what's going to happen yet with that. So, if the weather holds the way it says it's going to hold right now, we're probably just going to stay home and work in the shop, pull the motor out of that Malibu. Billy and Kenny's got the engine compartment all cleaned up. It looks good. It's much easier to deal with right now than the way it was. It was so oily and grimy. It was a total disaster. But they've got the engine bay degreased in the Malibu so we can start pulling the engine out of it. It wouldn't have hurt my feelings in the least to leave the little V6 in it for the winter. But unfortunately, the little V6 I think it has a wiped cam lobe. It was pretty common in those engines back in the late 70s, early 80s. They had some soft cam cores, and it was very common to see the V6s and the 305s wipe camshafts. And I think this one has fallen victim to that. It definitely only has 25,000 miles on it, there's no question. But it has sat, of course, it's sat a lot. And it's hard to tell, you know, it's hard to tell what's happened to it, but it's definitely, I think it's got a definite cam lobe that's bad. So it misses on one cylinder. It doesn't run very good. It barely pulls itself up the road on 5 cylinders. So we want to go ahead and get this engine swapped out. And since we've got this other engine and transmission over here, we happen to have spoke to the owner of the Purple Nova back when we first got it. Someone saw it on the channel and said, hey, that's my old car. I built that engine. I know exactly what's in it. And when we had the Nova here, we had to put a different oil pan on it. And sure enough, it looked like everything that this guy said was in that engine was in it. And a steel crank, forged rod, forged flat top pistons. So it's really a good little small block. It's a stock block, of course, but it's a good piece. So I think if we just put a good set of heads on it, a little hydraulic roller camshaft in it, I think it's going to do real well. Billy bought headers for it today. We'll take it and get some exhaust run on it. And the idea here is for the Malibu just to be a really, really cool street cruiser, something that we can take to car meets and cruise ins and events. You know, we can use it to do whatever. Vicky can use it, or anybody can use it. That, you know, if we need an extra vehicle to track or something, especially if we're right around here local. And the car is really cool. Everybody seems to like it. The video that I put up, the last video I put up about the Malibu, is the #1 video out of all my videos, almost for 6 months, I think. So a lot of interest in the little Malibu, and we appreciate that. I think it's going to be a really, really good thing for everybody here. I think it's going to be interesting for people to watch as we put the engine together and tune it and see what it runs, and we'll go through each step of the process and what changes we make equal what kind of improvements in ET. So it's not going to be a dedicated race car, but it will be a test bed for other things. But I'm definitely going to make sure the air conditioning stays. I want it to be a legit pump gas street cruiser. Eventually it may get turbocharged eventually, but for right now we're just going to do the naturally aspirated thing. So more tomorrow, I guess, right? We're struggling a little bit to find tires right now. It's hard to get tires. Can't get Mickeys, can't get Phoenixes, can't get Hoosiers hardly. So our testing has slowed down considerably, because if we test and test and test, we got to replace tires for the weekend, and you can't get them. And we don't want to race on wore out tires. So we just don't test right now, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Hopefully things get better for next year. Tomorrow I may do a little video on something that I'd like to talk about. I think it's going to be important. I think it's going to be, well, let's not get into it tonight, but tomorrow I want to talk about some changes that I think are coming to the small tire, no prep, and or street racing scene. I think there's really big things coming. I think I think if everybody thought that the small tire thing had reached its peak, I think you're wrong. I think something big is coming. And I'll explain that tomorrow in a video. I don't want to do a dedicated video specifically on that because I think a lot of people are going to want to hear what I'm saying. They may not like what I'm saying, but I think a lot of people are going to want to listen. And I don't want them to have to sit through 2 days worth of our whatever we've been doing here at the shop to be able to listen to it. So I think that's going to do it for tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the subscriptions. It's greatly appreciated. We'll see you all tomorrow. Good night.